Heartwarming secret revealed. Millionaire recovers hearing and discovers life-changing truths. Jack Thompson lay in a hospital bed, the antiseptic smell drowning him in a sea of sterile loneliness. His heart raced from anesthesia still lingering in his system, and as he fought to orient himself in this harsh white room, a miracle happened. Sounds began to filter in. Laughter. Children's laughter floated through the window, bright and innocent. Chatter from neighbors blanketed the air, washing over him like a warm embrace. It was as if a veil had been pulled back, revealing a world he had long ignored. Sitting up, Jack clutched the sheets, the chilling realization washing over him. He had imprisoned himself in whispers of profit and loss, tightening the noose around what it meant to truly live. The smile that had accompanied his success vanished at the thought of his younger brother, Tom, running the family diner that was now hanging by a thread. The diner where memories of love and togetherness danced like fireflies in the warm summer nights. The laughter once echoed within those walls, but now silence threatened to claim it for good. As Jack navigated through his luxurious days, the echoes of children's laughter began to stir something deep within him, a gnawing pang of regret. He had wasted his life chasing numbers, never understanding that real riches were found in togetherness and community. The vibrant noises were a shock to the system, awakening a longing for connection that he thought he could evade. One afternoon, while walking his neighborhood, Jack bumped into a local veteran, a man weathered by experiences and burdens far heavier than his own. Overcome by an urge to connect, Jack engaged him in conversation. The veteran spoke with fervor about the bravery of love, the importance of being there for one another, and the irreplaceable value of giving back to one's community. The words resonated deeply, like the notes of a melody he had forgotten existed. Was it possible to reclaim lost moments, to reshape what success truly meant? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With determination, Jack sought out Tom, hoping to bridge a chasm carved by years of neglect. But the atmosphere was heavy with unspoken words. Tension thickened the air. Anger from all those silent years simmered just beneath the surface. As they spoke, the walls around Jack's heart began to crumble, revealing the weight of sacrifice shared between brothers. The struggles Tom faced in the diner, Jack couldn't ignore them anymore. It felt as if he had never truly understood what family meant at all. Then a family secret surfaced, a hidden past that intertwined with the diner, one that shook Jack to his core. The very essence of who they were as a family now lay bare before him. Would this revelation further tear them apart? Or could it mend the frayed edges of their relationship? As Jack absorbed the reality of his family's legacy, he saw the world through new eyes. Hope intertwined with uncertainty. Questions loomed larger than the past, echoing in his now listening heart. Would he finally repair what was broken? The air buzzed with possibility, and Jack stood on the precipice of change, teetering between what it meant to lift others and redefine his own success. The sun was just beginning to set, casting a warm golden hue over the streets as Jack made his way to the diner. Each step felt heavy, filled with anticipation and dread. What would Tom say? Would the words he had spent so long avoiding burst forth in anger or confusion? Or would they find common ground in this new chapter of understanding? As he pushed open the diner door, the familiar jingle of the bell echoed through the space, but it felt different. The laughter of customers, the clinking of dishes, all wrapped around him like an old scarf he hadn't worn in years. He glanced around, taking in the faded photographs on the walls, images of the family that had built this place together, memories woven into the very fabric of the diner. Jack! Tom's voice cut through the noise, hesitant yet curious. He stood behind the counter, wiping down the surface, his brow furrowed with a mix of concern and surprise. Hey, Tom. Jack took a deep breath. Can we talk? The silence felt thick as Tom nodded, gesturing for Jack to take a seat. It was a small booth, the same one they had shared countless times when they were kids. Jack slid in, memories flooding back, every joyous moment almost palpable in the air. What is going on? Tom's eyes searched Jack's face for answers, and Jack felt the weight of all those unspoken words pressing against his chest. I've been thinking a lot. Jack's voice trembled slightly. About us, about the diner, about being family. I'm sorry it took me so long. Tom's gaze softened, and Jack saw a flicker of hope, a small glimmer that perhaps they could face this together. Yeah? It's about time you showed up, Jack. Things have been tough since you decided to focus on everything but us. I know. Jack's heart ached at the hurt in his brother's voice. I was so wrapped up in my own life. I didn't see what was right in front of me. I haven't been there for you. Or for the diner. I want to help. Before Tom could respond, the door swung open, and an elderly couple entered, their faces lighting up as they made their way to the counter. The couple's presence felt like a reminder of the diner's heart, a place where community thrived and laughter was always plentiful. Jack realized that these moments, small as they may seem, were treasures. The couple exchanged pleasantries with Tom, who forced a smile. Jack watched as his brother shifted between the roles of family tightrope walker and business owner, balancing their fragile history while also managing the day-to-day realities of running the diner. Tom, Jack leaned forward, sincerity heavy in his voice. What if we worked together to save this place? What if we brought back all the love and laughter? I'll invest, I'll help promote it. We can do this together. Tom paused, uncertainty painting his features. You really think you can just come in and fix everything? You can't just wave a magic wand and expect it all to change, Jack. No, I can't, Jack conceded, feeling a rush of frustration mixed with apprehension. But I'm willing to try. If you'll let me. I want to make it right. The tension in the air was palpable, each brother grappling with their past. Tom looked down, fiddling with a napkin as emotions churned inside him. Jack's pulse quickened, each heartbeat pressing against the possibility of reconciliation. Okay, Tom finally said, the word weighing heavily between them. But this will be harder than you think. There's a lot we need to talk about. There are scars we both need to heal. Jack nodded. I want that. I really do. As the first rays of hope settled into their conversation, Jack felt a mixture of exhilaration and fear. Could this truly be the beginning of restoring their bond? Would they uncover the hidden parts of their family that had shaped their lives? Just as Tom opened his mouth to speak again, the sound of laughter erupted from the kitchen, sudden and bright, and for a moment, everything that had felt broken seemed possible. Both brothers looked toward the sound, and Jack wondered what new truth awaited them as they prepared to confront the past and their family's secrets. What lay ahead could redefine everything they had ever known. Would they truly be ready for what was to come? The laughter continued, ringing through the diner like a bell summoning hope. Jack and Tom turned toward the kitchen, curiosity sparking in their eyes. The sound came from Janet, the diner's cook, who loved to spread joy through her cooking and laughter. It cut through the tension, lightening the heaviness that had settled between the brothers. What is going on in there? Tom asked, a reluctant smile breaking through his furrowed brow. Just Janet being Janet, Jack replied, chuckling softly. It was strange how comforting the usual chaos felt, especially now when uncertainty hovered like a cloud above them. Tom leaned back, arms crossed, and for a moment, Jack saw the boy he grew up with, the one who could find wonder in the simplest things. You know, she always says this place has a heartbeat, Tom mused, flicking his eyes toward the kitchen. Like it's alive, just waiting for us to come back to it. Jack nodded, feeling a flicker within himself. That's exactly what I want. I want to bring that heartbeat back, Tom. For us. Tom sighed, his shoulders relaxing just a bit. It's not just about fixing the diner, you know. It's about us, and everything we've let slip away. The quiet acknowledgement of their shared pain hung in the air like invisible threads, binding them closer together. What if we start by hosting a community night? Jack suggested, leaning in with enthusiasm. Food, games, maybe some live music? We could bring everyone together. Rekindle that sense of family that you've always said this place needs. Tom's eyebrows shot up, startled by Jack's excitement. A community night? His voice held a mix of skepticism and curiosity. You really think people will come? Absolutely, Jack said, his heart racing at the thought. People love this diner. They love the memories tied to it. We just need to remind them. Tom's eyes narrowed slightly as he considered it. And how exactly do you think you can pitch this? It's going to take more than just you getting a flyer made, you know? The challenge in Tom's tone ignited something in Jack. I've got some ideas. We can use social media, invite local musicians, get some donations for food. It could be the spark we need. The older brother laughed, though it was laced with doubt. You think we'll be able to fill this place up with just a couple of posts on Instagram? It's worth a shot, Jack said, emboldened by his brother's hesitant hope. What do we have to lose? The diner's practically empty as it is. We can't wait for things to magically get better. Tom crossed his arms, pondering the proposition, eyes drifting over the diner's worn tables and chairs. What if it fails? What if no one shows up? It'll feel like yet another letdown. And what if it doesn't? Jack countered, feeling the pulse of determination. What if this brings everyone back and we remember why we love this place in the first place? Tom pinched the bridge of his nose, clearly torn. You make it sound so easy, but what? Jack was on edge, daring to dream. Deep down, we both know how much this diner means to us. It's our family legacy. The air tightened again, heavy with the weight of possibility. In that moment, Jack saw something shift in Tom's expression, a flicker of shared resolve mixed with the shadow of past disappointments. The brother he longed to connect with was there, just beneath layers of hurt and hesitation. Maybe, just maybe, we can start with a small plan, Tom finally conceded, his voice lower but full of cautious hope. If we do this, we do it together. No more half measures. Jack felt a surge of excitement. Together, he echoed softly, the word hanging in the air like a promise. As the sun dipped lower, bathing the diner in a warm embrace, the two of them sat together, forming a fragile bridge between the past and the potential for something better. Suddenly, the door chimed again, drawing their attention. A figure stepped in, silhouetted against the last light of the day. Jack's breath caught as he recognized the newcomer, someone from their past, who could change everything they thought they knew. What secret did this unexpected visitor hold? The door swung open, allowing a rush of cool evening air to sweep into the diner, stirring up the scents of coffee and pie. Jack held his breath, his heart racing as he prepared for any possible reaction from Tom. The shadowed figure stepped forward, and as the light wrapped around them, Jack's pulse quickened with a mix of familiarity and disbelief. Rachel? Tom's voice broke the silence, a soft, almost incredulous whisper that echoed through the diner. Like a piece of an old puzzle finally falling into place, Jack's mind raced to all the memories of laughter and carefree days they shared before life took them on divergent paths. Tom had dated Rachel in high school, their love vibrant and full of promise until everything changed. Rachel gave a hesitant smile, her hair framing her face like soft waves. Time had marked her, just as it had them, but the sparkle in her eyes was the same. It reminded Jack of the hope they once shared, the dreams that felt just within reach. She waved, a little shyly, and instantly the air shifted. Jack could almost hear the memories flowing back, blending the past with the present. What are you doing back in town? Tom asked, his skepticism laced with unmistakable curiosity. I heard about the diner, Rachel replied, her voice rich yet gentle. I wanted to see how you were both doing. The sincerity in her gaze was palpable. It rooted them in that moment. Jack exchanged glances with Tom, sensing the weight of unspoken words teetering on the edge of their conversation. We're working on bringing it back, Jack managed to say, trying to muster confidence. We're planning a community night. Rachel's eyes lit up. That sounds amazing. I've missed this place. It felt like home. A glimmer of hope sparked in Jack's chest. He noticed the way Rachel held herself, a quiet strength wrapped around the warmth of nostalgia. You should join us. Help us get the word out. Your spirit could be the shining beacon for everyone, he said, his excitement spilling over. The idea of bringing Rachel back into their lives made Tom hesitate, his brows furrowing as the past collided with the present. There was so much history between them, and now a floodgate of memories threatened to break free. Tom took a breath, apprehension in his voice. There's a lot we've been through. A lot has changed for all of us. I know, Rachel replied softly, her expression shifting as understanding settled in. I'm not here to relive anything. I want to help. We can't change our past, but maybe we can build a better future for us and for this diner. Jack sensed that something monumental hung in the air, an emotional shift that could lead them all forward or tether them to what once was. Maybe that's what this is all about, reconnecting, he said, more to himself than anyone else. The brief silence weighed heavily as Tom gazed at Rachel. He opened his mouth, searching for the right words, but it was as if the weight of their past pressed firmly against his chest. What if he began, faltering slightly? What if we're not really ready for this? We won't know until we try, Rachel said carefully, bridging the space between them with her words. The warmth of her presence enveloped them like a warm blanket. Jack felt the flicker of encouragement swell, and suddenly everything seemed possible. It was not just about the diner. It was about healing, growth, and perhaps a return to laughter. Jack caught Tom's gaze, reading the unspoken agreement that simmered just beneath the surface, a cautious acknowledgement of possibility. Before long, the door chimed again, interrupting their moment. They all turned to face the next visitor, their cautious optimism hanging in the balance. Who else from their past might step through that door and rewrite their story yet again? The chime echoed in the diner, a sound both familiar and jarring, pulling them from their tangled emotions. Jack felt the tension shift slightly, but who could it be? He felt their collective breaths hold as the door swung wide once more and a tall figure strode in, silhouetted against the fading sunlight outside. Jack squinted against the light, straining to recognize the newcomer. But when the figure stepped forward, the cold air seeming to follow them into the warmth of the diner, Jack's heart sank. It was Mark, their childhood friend, the boy whose laughter once filled their days and whose loss lingered like a ghost in the edges of their memories. "Hey guys," Mark said, his voice a mix of surprise and undeniable joy. "Look at this." He spread his arms wide as if inviting the very essence of their camaraderie to rush back in. But there was something in his gaze that didn't match his cheerful demeanor, a hint of sorrow that tugged at Jack's heart. Tom's face transformed with shock. "Mark? It's been ages." The air thickened with nostalgia as they stepped closer, the years apart shrinking with each heartbeat. "Too long," Mark replied, gripping Tom's shoulder tightly. When he turned to Rachel, his smile faded slightly. "Rachel, we didn't know you were back." The warmth of familiarity was overshadowed by unspoken conflict. "I wanted to see how everyone was doing," Rachel said softly, the tension in her voice inviting a sense of calm amidst the storm of emotions. Jack watched as Mark's posture relaxed a bit. "I guess home just feels different now, doesn't it?" He gestured to the diner. "I heard it was up for revival. I had to come check it out." His enthusiasm seemed genuine, but Jack couldn't shake the feeling that Mark carried a weight too. As they all took seats at their usual booth, memories of laughter and shared stories mingled with remnants of their darker days. Jack couldn't help but think of the tragic event that had pulled them all apart, a tragic loss that had shattered their tight-knit group into pieces scattered across time and distance. "Everyone has been trying to figure out how to move forward," Jack said, instinctively wanting to bridge the gap. "This diner, it's a chance for us to reconnect." "I love that idea," Mark said, though his eyes darted away, as if he was trying to hide emotions he wasn't ready to face. "But what if we're not all on the same page? What if we have things to forgive, to sort out?" Silence fell over the table, the weight of his words hanging in the air like a ticking time bomb. The atmosphere shifted again. It was different from moments before, steeped in the reality of their past. Rachel leaned forward, her tone earnest. "It's not just about the diner. It's about us, Mark. We can't ignore that we were once family. Maybe it's time to really talk about what happened," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "Yeah, but are we ready?" Mark's eyes flickered with uncertainty. "Some things are better left unsaid." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. The door could open to healing, or it could swing shut forever. The thought clenched at his heart. "Maybe it's worth it," Jack interjected, his determination flaring. "This diner means more than just coffee and pie. It's about our second chances, about facing the past so we can embrace the future." Mark's gaze softened, and for the first time, vulnerability crept through the cracks of his bravado. "What if we really dig up the past, and it changes everything?" As the air crackled with emotions, Jack caught Tom looking at Rachel again, a mirror of hope and fear entwined. Could they lay bare their truths and still emerge stronger? The warmth of the diner felt thick, yet fragile, as they sat on the edge of transformation. With hearts beating in unison, They awaited a turn in their story that could either mend their bonds or pull them apart forever. What unspoken truths lay buried beneath their shared laughter? And would revealing them test the fragile connections they fought so hard to reclaim? The moment hung heavy in the air, every heartbeat echoing the hopes and fears swirling among them. Jack broke the silence, feeling the weight of their shared history pressing down like a thick fog. There has been too much left unsaid. His voice trembled slightly, every word resonating with the truth they all knew but were afraid to confront. Let us just be honest. We owe that to each other. Rachel's brow furrowed, worry etching her features. But where do we even begin? Mark leaned back, crossing his arms tightly over his chest. I didn't come here to dig deep, guys. I just wanted to see a familiar face, share a laugh. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this heavy stuff. The deflection was palpable. Jack could almost feel the collective disappointment ripple through the booth. We have to start somewhere, Mark. The past isn't just going to disappear. He glanced at Tom, whose gaze flitted between them, processing the moment, uncertain. Rachel piped up, her voice breaking through the tension. What if we just start with why we drifted apart? I mean, we used to share everything. Her eyes softened, and nostalgia warmed the coolness of their conversation. Do you remember those long summer nights on the lake? We'd talk until dawn about our dreams. What changed? Tom shifted in his seat, warmth flooding his cheeks as the memories danced before him. It feels like we lost sight of each other after, well, you know. He hesitated, the shadow of their past looming large. After we lost Jenna. Jenna. The name hung in the air like an anchor. Jack's heart ached at the mention. It wasn't just a name, it was a painful scar. None of us handled it well. I guess we thought keeping busy would help. Mark's eyes darkened, as if gazing into an abyss he wasn't ready to revisit. I went away thinking I'd find a better version of myself, somewhere far from here. And yet, it's only made me realize how much I missed you all, and how empty my life feels without you. The admission fell from his lips, unguarded. Rachel reached out, her hand brushing against Tom's. And we missed you too, Mark. But that loss taught us things we can't ignore. It's okay to feel hurt. We were all just kids. We didn't know how to cope. Jack watched Mark shrink inward again, resisting the pull of their reality. This diner can be a place of healing, but only if we let it. Are we ready to face our wounds? Tom asked, hope flickering in his voice. If we don't confront what we feel, we'll always sit here haunted by what we lost. Suddenly, the door swung open again, startling them as a gust of cold air rushed in, causing all heads to turn. A woman stood there, framed by twilight. Jack's breath caught in his throat. It was Chloe, an old classmate whose laughter had been a balm during their high school days, now tinged with an urgency that stole the warmth from the room. Sorry, am I interrupting? She asked breathlessly, eyes darting across the group, a mixture of concern and hope in her demeanor. I heard you were back, Rachel, and I thought maybe we could. Chloe. Rachel exclaimed, a flicker of surprise lighting her face. It's been forever. Mark's brows furrowed deeply, confusion wrinkling his expression. Wait, what is going on? In an instant, the moment transformed. Chloe's presence introduced a wild card into the fragile structure of their reunion. Questions spiraled in Jack's mind. What could she possibly hold that would sway the course they'd just begun to chart together? As Chloe stepped further into the diner, the air thickened with tension, a new chapter unspooling before them. Would her arrival derail their tentative steps towards clarity, or could it be the spark they needed to ignite the conversation they all desperately needed? The diner felt smaller as unyielding truths lingered just out of reach. In this crossroads of friendship and grief, what revelations awaited them that could change everything forever? Chloe took a step closer, the light from the diner's neon signs spilling over her like a spotlight, emphasizing the sincerity in her eyes. I didn't mean to drop in uninvited, but I heard you were all together. I've missed you guys. She smiled, but the tremor in her voice told a different story. Jack noticed the tension in Mark's posture. We were just, he hesitated, unsure of how to bridge the gap between the past and present, talking about Jenna. Chloe's expression shifted, and for the briefest moment, her confident demeanor cracked. I didn't realize you were ready for that conversation. I thought maybe everyone was happy pretending. She glanced at each of them, searching their faces as if hoping for a sign that could guide her own feelings. Rachel nodded slowly. We're trying to be honest. It's harder than it seems. With a deep breath, Chloe pulled a chair and sat down. I need to tell you something. I've been carrying this for a while. The playful lightness of old times felt like a distant memory as she continued. When Jenna passed, I didn't just lose a friend. I lost a part of myself, too. I thought I could move on. But it's like I was stuck, caught between memories that haunted me and a future I didn't want to face. Tom leaned forward, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. You're not alone in feeling that way, Chloe. We all struggled, each in our own way. Her fingers fidgeted with the edge of the table. After Jenna, she hesitated again, her voice trembling. I thought all of you would forget me. That pain drove me as far away from this place as I could get. But here I am, feeling just as lost. Chloe, that's not true, Rachel replied, trying to reach through the fog of doubt. We thought about you too. It's why we're here now, because we realize how important it is to connect again. Mark remained silent, his fists clenching and unclenching, wrestling with his internal conflict. If we really want to heal, and I'm not sure we do, we need to stop hiding. We should be talking about our loss, about how it still affects us. Not pretending it didn't change everything. Chloe's eyes sparkled with unshed tears. I didn't want to bring more pain. I thought my showing up would just remind everyone of what we lost. But it won't, Jack said, his voice firm. Facing it will help us. We aren't kids anymore. We need to be honest, not just about our good times, but the hurt that followed. The conversation wrapped around them like a blanket, heavy with unspoken truths and the warmth of shared grief. Chloe's tension began to ease. She looked at them, really looked at them. Do you think Jenna would want us to keep running? She asked, and the weight of her question lingered in the air. Tom's response came slow, but it was grounded. She wouldn't want us to forget how to live, even with the hurt. We have to figure out how to remember her while still moving forward. Tears glimmered in Chloe's eyes. She nodded, her vulnerability shining through. I'm not ready to let go of her memory, but maybe just then, a loud crash rang through the diner as a waitress stumbled, dropping a tray full of dishes. Laughter erupted from the scattered customers, cutting through the heaviness for a moment. Yet, the clatter seemed almost symbolic, shaking up their heavy conversation. Through the laughter, Jack caught a glimpse of the moment, a break in tension, a reminder that life continues. Maybe that was the first step. They all knew they had a long way to go. As the laugh faded, Jack sensed that something crucial was bubbling beneath the surface, something that could transform the pain into a renewed strength. With a soft smile, he asked, "What would you say is the most important thing we need to share right now?" And in that moment of fragile hope, what could they uncover next that would change everything? Chloe wiped a tear from her cheek, the humor from moments ago still lingering as a thread of light amidst the heavy suffocation of grief. Jack noticed her discomfort and leaned in, encouraging her. Chloe, don't hold back. What's in your heart? What do you want to say? She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their gazes on her. When Jenna was alive, I never told her how much she meant to me. I regret that every day. I was so caught up in my own life that I never realized how fragile everything was. Her voice cracked, and she squeezed her eyes shut, as if trying to hold in all the emotions surging forward. I thought we had time. Tom shifted in his seat, his expression softening. We often take time for granted. He looked over at Mark, who was still wrestling with his thoughts. It's hard to face these regrets, but maybe if we share ours now, we can help one another heal. Chloe nodded, still reeling from the weight of her confession. I guess I came back hoping for a chance to make things right. Not just with Jenna, but with all of you. That's a big step, Rachel said gently, supporting Chloe's leap into vulnerability. We're here for each other now. We can't change what happened, but we can find ways to cherish her memory together. Mark finally broke his silence. I didn't tell Jenna how much she inspired me. I acted like I was too cool for that, but she was this bright light. She made me want to be better. And now I'm stuck feeling like I never measured up. He sank back in his chair, frustration etched across his face. None of us would have blamed you for feeling that way, Jack offered. But it's important now to be gentle with ourselves. We did our best back then, just like we are now. Chloe looked around the table, searching for a glimmer of hope in the midst of shared sorrow. Maybe if we open up more about Jenna, her spirit, what she stood for, we can start to mend what feels broken inside of us. Tom looked thoughtful. You know, I've been thinking she loved gatherings. We could organize something to celebrate her life. An event where we share stories, laughter, even tears. It could be a way to remember her and reconnect. Rachel's eyes brightened. That sounds perfect. We can invite everyone who knew her. It could be a way to bring the old group back together. Rekindle that sense of family we had. Chloe felt a surge of energy as she listened, the idea igniting warmth within her. I think Jenna would love that. It would be something she would want. Mark, still processing, finally added, count me in. I need to honor her, not hide from this. I don't want to feel shame anymore. The diner felt alive with shared determination, bringing each of them closer. The air was thick with promise. They were standing on the edge of something new and transformative. They had found a way to honor Jenna while embracing their own healing. As they began to discuss ideas for the event, each laugh and each tear felt like a stitch in the fabric of their bond, one that had been frayed but was beginning to mend. And in that moment, something was beginning to shift inside each of them. Chloe could see the light of hope reflected in their eyes. But there was still a question nagging at her heart. What if we're not ready? What if the memories are too painful? Her voice was barely above a whisper, but it hovered in the air, leaving everyone to wonder, would they all have the strength to face the shadows that lingered? Chloe's question hung in the air, thick and heavy. The diner around them buzzed with life, the clattering of plates, murmurs of laughter, the hiss of the grill, but their table felt like an island of deep reflection. Jack leaned forward, breaking the silence that followed Chloe's words. What if we take it one step at a time? We can decide how much we want to share when we want to share it. It's okay to feel scared. His earnestness drew a small smile from Chloe, a flicker of reassurance amidst the uncertainty. Rachel, nodding, interjected, besides, it's in sharing that we find strength, right? Jenna lived her life fully. She'd want us to embrace all of it, the joy and the pain. We can lean on each other. Tom turned his gaze back to the group, his face a tapestry of understanding and sadness. Let us be real, there's no perfect time for this. Maybe it'll hurt, but maybe it'll free us, too. Mark raised his eyes, a fire igniting within. I don't want to run away from the memories anymore. They're part of us. Jenna wouldn't want us dimming our lives because she's gone. We have to keep living. Chloe nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. You're right. Bringing everyone together would be a way to honor her legacy. And just like that, the walls that had kept them apart began to crumble. One idea sparked another, like fireworks lighting up a dark sky. They started discussing themes for the gathering, each suggestion revealing more about their shared love for Jenna and what she meant to them. Her favorite color was yellow. Rachel exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. We could decorate with sunflowers. They always made her smile. And we can have a potluck, everyone brings their favorite dish, something Jenna loved. A tribute to her sense of adventure, Tom added, excitement building. We can set up a memory wall where everyone can share stories or photos. Imagine the laughter. The tears would be a good thing, too, part of remembering. As they bounced ideas around, Chloe couldn't help but feel lighter. Every laugh, every shared memory, brought the group closer. It felt like they were rediscovering pieces of themselves that had been buried under layers of pain. But a faint whisper tugged at her heart, a shadow that refused to fade. Was it really possible to heal from this? Could they bring Jenna's spirit to the forefront and face the emotions that clung to them? The emotions continued to swell, and their plates sat forgotten. With each passing moment, they began to realize the event might not just be a celebration of Jenna's life. It could also be the key to their own healing. Chloe took a deep breath, glancing around at her friends who seemed renewed, hopeful. Yet doubt loomed on the horizon. What if we can't capture her spirit? What if it's too big, too intense? Before anyone could respond, their waitress walked over, a tray balanced on her hip. She caught the end of their conversation. You know, they say that memories become stronger when shared. Maybe that's what real love does, it grows. Each story, each meal, each laugh, it keeps that person alive. Her words struck deep. Tom nodded slowly. Maybe we were afraid of what confronting those memories would look like. But what if this is a chance to truly honor Jenna? Chloe's heart raced with the prospect of moving forward, but the flicker of uncertainty still lingered. She stole glances at each friend as laughter bubbled around them, wondering, would the shadows prove too much to bear, even together? A thought, a flicker. Could sharing our stories actually help us heal, or will it uncover more pain? The question settled, leaving everyone quiet. Hope clung to them, but so did the weight of what was about to unfold. Would they find solace or just more heartache? The gathering loomed ahead, filled with potential and uncertainty. The diner buzzed with excitement as the day of the community night arrived. Banners hung overhead, each adorned with yellow sunflowers, just as Jenna loved them. Jack marveled at how they transformed the diner from merely a place for food into a vibrant heart of memories and love. They had pulled together, reaching out to familiar faces from their pasts. Friends, family, laughter. It was a beautiful tapestry woven tightly through shared experiences. In its very essence, it felt like a tribute, a chance to celebrate everything Jenna stood for. Jack stood behind the counter, glancing around at the faces filling the tables. He spotted Tom setting up the memory wall. They had painstakingly crafted together photos, words, snippets of treasured times spent under the sun. As Jack poured drinks, he could feel hope simmering in the air, rising like steam from a fresh batch of baked goods. When the door swung open, a crowd of familiar faces filled the entrance. A wave of warmth and nostalgia washed over Jack. There were laughter and hugs, exchanged smiling glances between neighbors and old friends. The laughter echoed, a symphony that tugged at something deep within Jack. But amidst the joy lay a current of trepidation. The shadows of their shared grief lingered on the edge of the evening. "Hey, are you ready for this?" Tom approached, breaking into Jack's thoughts. A hint of nervousness tinged his voice, but his eyes sparkled with resolve. Jack nodded, his heart pounding. "We've done all this together. It's about all of us." Jenna would be proud. As the night wore on, stories began to weave together, each voice a piece of the puzzle they sought to complete. Rachel stood up first, her voice steady yet filled with emotion as she recounted her favorite memory of Jenna, the summer road trip they had taken. The whole diner erupted in laughter when she recalled how they got lost, but ended up at that tiny ice cream stand that Jenna adored. Each chuckle shared echoed warmth through the room. They shared memories that honored Jenna's spirit, but there were heavier moments too. Under the soft glow of the diner's lamps, Mark found his voice, the pain of loss woven into his words. He recounted the day they lost her, the heartache that rendered their world silent. "I carried that guilt. I thought I could saved her. We should been stronger together," Mark admitted, his voice breaking yet powerful. Each revelation held their power, and as every story was shared, the weight seemed to lift a little. Each acknowledgement of pain was met with understanding. They began to see how much they had all walked through their healing journey separately, but now it was time to confront it together. The laughter blended seamlessly with the tears, not diminishing the memories, but instead amplifying their love. As the night deepened, Jack moved closer to Tom, feeling that familiar bond rekindle. "We've changed, he said softly, watching friends share unguarded moments. "But together, we're stronger." "Yeah," Tom agreed, his eyes bright with renewal. "If we can face this, we can face anything." As the last story was shared in homage to Jenna's love for spontaneity, a hush fell over the diner. Jack reached for the microphone, feeling the warmth of support surrounding him. "Thank you all for being here, for bringing Jenna's memory back to life. It's not just about grief, it's about how we choose to move forward together." Just then, the bell at the door jingled again. All heads turned, eyes wide with expectancy. More friends, more memories slowly trickling in. There was something electric in the air, a mutual understanding that it was time to embrace the shadows and live, truly live. Jack smiled, heart swelling. The laughter cascaded through the diner once more, holding within it the promise of healing. In that moment, it became clear, this was Jenna's legacy. She would always be a part of them, guiding them toward light, love, and reconnection. With smiles and cheers filling the space, the sweeping shadows of their past began to fade, replaced by laughter and the closeness that real community brought. It was no longer just a diner, it was a sanctuary for healing, love, and the unbreakable bonds of family. As the last song played, they stood together, arms linked, a collective heart beating as one. They knew that moving forward wouldn't be perfect, it never was. But they were ready for whatever came next, their lives forever transformed, starting anew. "Let us keep this going," Jack said, closing the evening with hope. "Let us keep bringing everyone together." And as the light of the diner flickered against the night, They all felt it, the heartbeat of their shared experience. The pulse of laughter echoing through an ever-connected community was alive. You need to subscribe now to never miss a moment like this again. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to help us spread this story far and wide. Comment your reactions and feelings about this journey below. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us keep the momentum going and inspire others together.